Welcome to today's episode of Weaponry and Tech in Gaming. Today I'm finishing off the weapons able to be used by players on foot in the Halo game series from the UNSC. Warning, I was lazy and you'll be able to tell based off this script. I just copied and pasted my script off of Halo Nation, and the evidence is kind of there, so yeah. Sorry for the lazy work on the script. I'll be making my own scripts better from now on when I'm kind of feeling less lazy, so they should be better and more informative, but have my own flair on them. Anyway, to start us off is the ARC 920. The asymmetric recoilless carbon 920, also known as the ARC 920 or simply the railgun, is a compact channel linear accelerator that fires a high explosive round at incredible speed. The charge time is approximately 2 seconds and can be fired with only a partial charge at the cost of lesser damage. A direct hit will kill any player regardless of charge time. The ARC 920 is the next step in the evolution of UNSC railgun tech. It is widely considered the best of all limited production rifles. Though compared to other weapons, it is still quite cumbersome. The follow-on explosive charge is the M645 ferric tungsten projectile, helped keep the ARC 920 in its high position as a deadly tool of destruction. Next up is the missile pod. The LAW-65D/SGM-151, also known as the missile pod, is the UNSC emplacement launcher unit which fires self-guided missiles. Capable of seeking and tracking targets at long distances, it is most commonly fired from a static position, while reports have surfaced of troops removing the pod from its fixed emplacement and using it in a mobile fashion. These have so far been inconclusive. The system consists of a stationary mount which provides a stable firing platform for the missile pod itself. An internal 8-round magazine within the pod is replenished by an external magazine in the base of the emplacement. When fired, the missiles are first propelled upwards by the pod itself before initiating their automated self-propulsion guidance system. ASGM-4's lower grade version of the large ASGM-10 missiles used by longsword interceptors are heat-seeking, armor-piercing ordnance used for both anti-aircraft and anti-armor roles. This system is normally found mounted on defense emplacements, walls, and vehicles. While it features forward and rear grips allowing the user to remove the missile pod from its emplacement and carry the weapon, at 202.4 centimeters long, it is too massive and cumbersome for anyone but Spartans and particularly strong Sangheili to wield in this way. Chain gun. The AIE-486H heavy machine gun, or more commonly referred to as the heavy machine gun turret, is a UNSC machine gun effective against infantry and light vehicles. The AIE-486H heavy machine gun is a standard Gatling-style medium machine gun used by UNSC for offensive and defensive purposes. It is also more powerful than the UNSC stationary turret, the M247 GP machine gun. For defensive purposes, it can be mounted on a tripod, but when used for an assault, it can be irreversibly and quickly detached from the mount. When dismounted, the weapon has a limited ammunition capacity of 200 rounds and takes about a second to spin up before reaching its highest rate of fire. Pulling the trigger once will cause the gun to fire a maximum of 2 rounds at a moderate rate. Holding it down builds up a rate of fire to a higher rate. The gun's muzzle climbs slowly during sustained fire like the M7 caseless submachine gun. Its recoil is lessened by the gun's weight, but this also decreases the user's walking speed and overall mobility. Unlike other heavy machine guns in the Halo series, the AIE-486H does not overheat with continuous fire. This is a realistic portrayal, as having 3 barrels on this gun disperses the heat equally among them, allowing the gun to remain cool and continue functioning for long periods of time. SAW. The M739 light machine gun, also known as the SAW, squad automatic weapon, is used in heavy engagement where sustained or suppressive fire is required. It has a high rate of 920 rounds per minute and a standard magazine size of 72 rounds. And Halo Nation didn't really have much info on this weapon, so sadly this is one of the shorter ones in the group. Grenade launcher. The M319 individual grenade launcher, or more formally known as the individual grenade launcher, caliber 40mm M319, is a single-shot break-action explosives launcher used by the United Nations Space Command. specifically the US and UNSC Army. Due to its simplicity, ruggedness, and firepower, it has been a mainstay weapon in the UNSC Army since its adaptation in 2263. It has seen action in several armed conflicts during nearly 3 centuries of use, with the Human Covenant War as the most prominent. It saw use during the Fall of Reach. The grenade launcher has 2 firing modes. The first launches a single grenade after hitting a surface. The grenade detonates on impact with an opponent or after a time of a frag grenade's detonation, in which case the grenade will explode after bouncing off the ground once. The second firing mode shoots a grenade that explodes when the player wishes. This is performed by holding down the trigger, which fires a grenade but merely primes it. It will only explode after the trigger is released, and this enables the player to lay a trap if the grenade is bounced properly into position and essentially creates an explosive with a dead man's trigger, a trigger that will go off once it is released, e.g. when the player dies. This function is also helpful if the player wishes to fire at targets that are further away than the detonation timer that would normally allow. This firing mode also generates a small EMP field when the grenade is detonated, which can be used to momentarily halt vehicles or remove personal shielding. Like the fragmentation grenade in Halo Reach, a player will take damage if hit by the grenade when it is merely primed. The weapon utilizes a break-action breech loading system. After firing 1 round, the weapon must be reloaded, like many 20th century shotguns. M363 Remote Projectile Detonator. The M363 Remote Projectile Detonator, also known as the Sticky Detonator, Rocket Pistol, or DMG, is a single-shot muzzle-loaded grenade launcher first introduced in Halo 4. The M63 Remote Projectile Detonator fires a rocket-propelled adhesive grenade. The grenade leaves a telltale trail while traveling through the air and emits a red light after sticking to a surface. After the grenade is fired, a small screen pops out from the weapon and displays radar of the area around the grenade. A button located on the left side of the pistol serves as the detonator. If not remotely detonated, the projectile detonates on its own after a certain amount of time. The M363 only holds 1 projectile at a time and is reloaded by sliding a new grenade into the front of the pistol. Hydra Launcher. The MLRS-1 Hydra Gyroc Launcher is often shortened to Hydra Launcher, is a medium-range airburst missile launcher introduced in Halo 5 Guardians. It features a 6-missile cylinder and a lock-on feature when zoomed in. And that is it for today's episode. Sadly, I was kind of lazy, so this episode might be a bit boring. I promise with the next episode, which is going to be vehicles and their weaponry, it should be more interesting and it should have a more unique to me script. Anyway, this has been the Legendary Halo. Have a good day and keep playing Halo.